People talk about the sticker shock of Medicare for all. They do not talk about the sticker shock of the cost of our existing system. You know, in a Koch brothers funded study, if any study is going to try to be a little bit slanted, it would be one funded by the Koch brothers. It shows that Medicare for all is actually much cheaper than the current system that we pay right now. And let's not forget that the reason that the Supreme Court upheld the Affordable Care Act is because they ruled that each of these monthly payments that everyday Americans make is a tax. And so while it may not seem like we pay that tax on April 15th, we pay it every single month, or we do pay a tax season if we don't buy, these.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is absolutely doing a fan-freaking-tastic job here defending Medicare for all, and I just wanted to let her go uninterrupted and explain it herself. But for someone who gets a lot of hatred for not being smart enough or any of these other oftentimes pretty misogynistic tropes, AOC defending the cost of Medicare for all here is probably one of the best, like, condensed ways that I've ever seen someone brutally dismantle all the counterpoints and talk about the necessity for Medicare for all. So let's keep going.
Month, or we do pay a tax season if we don't buy, these plans off of the exchange. So we're paying for this system. We Americans have the sticker shock of healthcare as it is. And what we're also not talking about is why aren't we incorporating the cost of all the funeral expenses of those who die because they can't afford access to healthcare? That is part of the cost of our system. Why don't we talk about the cost of reduced productivity because of people who need to go on disability, because of people who are not able to participate in our economy, because they're having issues like diabetes or they don't have access to the healthcare that they need. I think at the end of the day,
healthcare does end up increasing productivity and quality of life in tremendously important ways. This is one of the many reasons why we need to have Medicare for all. There are moral reasons for it, but there's also efficiency reasons for it. There are reasons why almost every single developed Western capitalist nation has implemented some form of socialized medicine, and that's precisely why it's more effective and more efficient in these countries that have some form of universal health care. We have not been able to reach that consensus here in the United States because of the tremendous amount of lobbying power that the pharmaceutical corporations and the insurance industry has, and the healthcare industry in general has, because capital in this country has a tremendous amount of power. But yeah, let's keep going.
We see that this is not a pipe dream. Every other developed nation in the world does this. Why can't America? And that is the question that we need to ask. We have done these things before. We write unlimited blank checks for war. We just wrote a $2 trillion check for that tax cut.
This is, I think, the best part about it. This is the best counter to any sort of Medicare for all conversation is whenever people try to bring up how will we pay for it, whether it's cynical or if it's genuine, the best counter to always bring up is look at all of the money that we spend on never-ending wars. The Iraq war, which is illegal and criminal, it cost the American people, the war on terror across the board, cost the American people $6 trillion. And that is before we talk about the human toll of 5,000 troops, 5,000 men and women who have died since this all started. So, yeah, we always end up finding money whenever it is for the interest of the military-industrial complex, but we can simply, or whenever it is to cut taxes like AOC is mentioning here, but we can never find money when it comes to healing Americans. I wonder why.
GOP tax cut, and nobody asked those folks how are they going to pay for it. So my question is, why is it that our pockets are only empty when it comes to education and health care for our kids? Why are our pockets only empty when we talk about 100% renewable energy that is going to save this planet and allow our children to thrive? We only have empty pockets when it comes to the morally right things to do. But when it comes to tax cuts for billionaires and when it comes to unlimited war, we seem to be able to invent that money very easily. And to me, it belies a lack of moral priorities that people have right now, especially the Republican Party.
Perfect. Just absolutely succinct and perfect description for why we need Medicare for all. This is precisely why I think AOC is a brilliant politician and will be the future of the progressive movement, hopefully down the line. I'm Hasan Piker, and I wanted to hear what your thoughts are on this, so please leave them in the comment section below. And this has been The Breakdown.